Good evening and welcome everybody for joining us to our Spotlight series tonight in the Member Connect Hub, I should say. I'm Monique Cooper, the President of the MDDA, for those of you that don't know me, and this is now, I think, our third month in of our Spotlight series of events. So tonight I'm very pleased to be welcoming to the stage shortly Frances De Costello, who will be joining us for a night on the couch with our hostesses of the mostest, Louise Healy, to do a deep dive into France's world as a young child and a teenager, now 19-year-old young lady with PKU. She's been a great member of the MDDA, involved in a lot of our events, I think, from her early childhood through. So it's going to be a nice, interesting chat to speak with Frances today. Now, before I do that, she'll be joining us here on the virtual couch in approximately 20 minutes. I am just going to start with our MDDA update and just do a bit of a recap on all the activities that have been happening in the hub over the last month. So firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you to our sponsors who recently came on board and supported us here now in the hub with our platinum sponsor, Nutricia. And I have Renee Wells, who will be joining me shortly on the stage to say a few words. And also our gold sponsor, VitaFlow, who came on board again recently for the hub. And we do have an event coming up with them in just a few weeks' time, a cooking showcase that we'll be doing with VitaFlow in the hub. So mark that date in your diary. It's going to be the 23rd of September. So when's that? Next Thursday. It'll be a daytime event as well. So it'll be a great chance for those of you that can't do these evening functions to participate in a daytime event whilst we're all still, no doubt, or at least one side of the country in lockdown here. So we'll do some yummy cooking with VitaFlow. So thank you for those sponsors. We couldn't put together these sorts of activities without them. So it's been a busy month, as it always has been at the MDDA. So September, we did do a handful of events through the hub, and we've had some great feedback on those events as well to date. The event that we did do in September was with a very cherished member of ours, Kobe Poole, who we were very fortunate to come and share her story about her two sons with tyrosinemia type 1, Lockie and Liam. And it was a fantastic chance to really understand Kobe's story and the story of her boys. Unfortunately, we won't be sharing that video at any stage soon with hub members. Unfortunately, we heard some very devastating news only a few days following that event, where Kobe was involved in a very horrific accident with her daughter Chloe and her son Harrison, two of her four children, and it completely rocked the MDDA and our whole community, and many of us who are very close to Kobe and really just treasured her as being a part of our community and as parents and adults, and knowing everything that she did. She was an incredible woman. She was an incredible mother, and it took us all by complete shock. And I guess we're still all coming to terms with it. I know that there's a number of our MDDA members who are very close to Kobe and who are still coming to terms with this news. We're doing everything we can as a community to wrap our arms around Craig and those two beautiful boys and provide them with whatever support we can. And I'm very thankful for all of our members that have put up their hands to help out in whatever way we can. So we do have a support Facebook group online for just the MDDA community for anyone that, whether you knew Kobe well or not, but want to be able to help out. And we are still working direct with Craig and the family to just determine what ways we can do that. Louise is in very close contact with them, as well as Katie, who is a very good friend with Kobe as well. So just as a little update for those of you that weren't aware of that news, I'm very sorry to have to break that news to you. For those that were and have been involved in the process. We will be in touch in due course when there's a need that arises for us to be able to support them in whatever way that might be. But we'd be really supporting Craig and doing whatever we can to keep those boys definitely involved within our community. I know Kobe absolutely got so much out of our events, and not only having the boys but the whole family participate in our retreats. And so many of our events. So whatever we can do to continue to help with that, to help with low protein foods, anything that we can do to support them, we are doing. So appreciate all of your offers for support. There is a GoFundMe site that you can donate to. Last we looked, it was 108,000. I'm sure that's gone up since then. I think that's about a week old now. So I'm sure that GoFundMe is still live there. I think if you just look up Kobe for anyone that would like to contribute to that, and donate to support Craig and the boys. It's going to be a very tough road ahead for them. So I really appreciate any support you have. And as I can see from some comments here in the audience, she was a bright, shining star in our IEM world. We all miss her terribly. We were very grateful that we got to, I know she was so excited about sharing her story here on the Hub. And I'm just really grateful that we got the opportunity to do that. And that's, some memories for all of us to be able to treasure for a long time. So, we all, she has all of our love and family, and rest in peace, Kobe. Okay, so moving on, we had another great event going back actually to August that we hadn't done a review on. Chelsea Doherty, one of our other adult members, we did do a fantastic spotlight series on her. It was a great story, and this recording is on the Hub. You can go back and play it back at any time, as with all of our other spotlight series and events at the moment that are up online, available for replay. Very inspiring story to hear about Chasey and all of her endeavours with what she's been able to achieve as an adult with PKU. So thank you, Chelsea, for that event. We had some connect groups with new parents and PKU adults and other IEMs. The new parents groups has been a fantastic success so far. That's for new parents with children under the age of 2. And I must say, I think it's been really great initiative to be able to do, because I guess in this COVID world, the one thing they have missed out on is that face-to-face contact with some of the support events and groups that we used to pull together with the new parents and our retreats and all of those things. So we will be holding another one with the new parents next week on the 23rd, straight after the cooking demonstration with VitaFlow, and we will be running that on a regular basis along with the other connect groups when the demand is there for it. So all you need to do is yell out when you want to have one of these connect groups, and we can set them up for you. Alternatively, if there is a need for an event or a group that you just want to host online, just give us a yell and we can set it up for you. You can always create your own little team meeting in the in the Member Connect Hub. But if you do want a special room set up for you that any of you want to come in and meet with on a regular or ad hoc basis, let us know. That's what this platform's here for, and it's designed to enable you to do that. Okay, so we have had a massive weekend this weekend at the MDDA. We ran our inaugural Global PKU Patient Conference, and I noticed a number of you that are online participated in that event. I think, in fact, some of you did the marathon stint of 17 hours from beginning to end, and it was a fantastic event, and I really appreciate your support on that. We had researchers and scientific presentations from around the world, all in a day. We live translated to 6 different languages. We, oops, let me just pop that in the wrong spot. Let me come back to that. We had 69 countries in attendance, over 50 speakers, with over 50 presentations, and we almost tipped the 1,000 registrants. First year in, we were pretty happy with that. and we had many of our international support groups represented in this event. It was a fantastic occasion. So this is just to give you a little bit of a representation of how much of the globe that we covered with this event, of people being online at any time during the event. And some of the sessions here you can see were a combination of panel sessions, live presentations, pre-recorded presentations, the whole works. It was all there, and it was all available in a very similar platform to this right now. Let me just go back here, sorry. And for any of you that are online, I think I can see from the names here, most of you were there online during the day. There might be one or two that weren't. It's not too late to have a look. You can go to globalpku.org/conference with a lowercase c, and you can still actually register and get access to those presentations. So we won't be making them live to the public, but we will be making them live to anyone that wants to still register. Now, I'm just going to interrupt for one sec because, Nadine, I think I can see there's a Francesca that's online, and I'm just not sure if it's Francis or not because it's coming up under a different name. So I might just get you to check for me while I'm talking to make sure we've got the correct login for her so that we can get her into the green room. Francis is joining us. Okay, so she's telling me it's a different one, so that's awesome. Francis is joining us soon. She was just going to be coming a little closer to 8, so I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing her there. Okay, so being a part of the GAP organisation is a group that Louise and I have been involved in now for a number of years, and we joined this group with a vision to help all people with PKU, despite where they live or their origin, to be able to reach their full potential. Our mission is to advance PKU as a global health priority and strengthen PKU associations and groups around the world. There are many countries out there that don't have the representation or fortunate situation that we're in here in Australia, where not only have they got a patient group, but they've got access to care, medication, formula, even low protein foods. And I guess we've taken on that global challenge to really work out how some of us more fortunate countries can really band together to help with those situations and improve their access to all of those resources that we're very fortunate to have. So this conference was one of the first of those. And what I'm just going to do now is, and I know some of you who are online have seen this, so it's only going to take about 6-7 minutes, but I've just got a quick snapshot here of a video just of the final recap of the 3 host region presentations, just to give those of you that didn't attend a little bit of a taste of what was involved, and a reminder that you can access these by going to globalpku.org/conference. So I'll just spend a few minutes of your time watching this, and then I'll be back to shortly introduce Francis. Thanks, Nadine.
I do want people to know that if you cannot access the translation for the sessions, all you need to do is copy and paste the link in the question and answers into a new tab. So I hope that helps you all.
Go, Christine.
So we had a great kickoff to this 16-hour event in the Americas. We started off with a great panel on how PKU is treated, both in Canada, in Mexico, and in the United States. And even though we're all in North America, each of those countries faces different challenges when it comes to diagnosing and treating PKU and having access to treatments that are available. From there, we learned about the PKU patient registry and ways that patients can participate in research, accelerate drug development, and also really learn about how your experience with PKU compares to other people with PKU. From there, we had a great presentation around educational strategies in Chile. And then we closed our session learning about gene therapy in PKU with a great educational animated video so people can understand what gene therapy is and how it might be used to treat PKU. And then really learned about PKU research in gene therapy, both in terms of drug development as well as preclinical work that is happening in labs in the United States. So so great that we could kick off this event, and I did get some sleep and now I'm up again. And I think next you are going to hear, I believe, back to Australia, I think, before we hear from Germany, Louise. So
That's right. Thank you, Christine. And thank you for your program. I really enjoyed the bits of it I was able to catch. So it was a great program, wonderful work.
Thank you.
So I am going to give a little wrap up of the Asia Pacific program. So we kicked off with a brilliant symposium sponsored by BioMarin, when we had speakers Dr. Sean Christ and Barbara Burton talking about the importance of reducing phe levels and the impact of high phenylalanine on both quality of life and on brain outcomes. And that really set the tone for the rest of the presentations, a lot of which reminded us or showed us the research on the MRI research on the brain, and went into quite a bit of detail about some of those things. And I think that those presentations were really, really helpful, and sometimes a little bit confronting to think about as a patient, and the need for us to really maintain that phe control as much as we can. And I think it highlighted the need for the research and those clinical trials that Christine just spoke of for more and more management options for people with PKU, because what we can really see is over the lifetime it is difficult, if not impossible, to maintain the diet. We also heard from Dr. Manal Menezes talking about a biobank, which I think is very exciting, a PKU biobank that opens up a whole range of possibilities for research. We looked at some of the emerging research from gene therapies in Australia, and what Australia is doing to position itself as a leader in the gene therapy space. And look, it was actually, we had a great time, and I'm really grateful to all of the presenters. And I learnt a lot and found it very stimulating, and I'm sure I have a million questions still to answer. So I am now going to pass to Tobias, who was the coordinator and host for the European program, to just give us a short wrap up of the European program. Hi, Tobias. Great program. Thank you.
Hi, Louise. Thank you. Yeah, great program. I have to give that compliment back to all of you guys in Americas and in Asia Pacific. You really set the bar high, and it was quite difficult to keep on with you. So thank you for the opportunity to wrap up the European program, because throughout the entire world, every single day, 10 PKU babies are born without being diagnosed, and these patients tend to be forgotten in the shadows of all the success stories and promising new therapeutic options in the research pipelines. We have chosen late diagnosed and untreated PKU as our main topic. After we remembered the courage of Professor Horst Bickel to introduce the first ever successful PKU diet to little Sheila Jones against all odds, two captivating video documentaries made us aware how deeply untreated PKU affects not only the patients themselves, but also their relatives. And the example of Ilona Benkel is evident for the improvements in quality of life that can be achieved even with a late introduced PKU treatment. Our outstanding speakers, Professor Maria Giszewska, Professor Anita MacDonald, and Professor Burcu Öztürk-Himsi, answered the many scientific and nutritional questions and shared their experiences in overcoming the barriers to a better life with PKU. And the very lively discussion at the end of the session touched on various aspects. Untreated PKU can be understood as a life-shortening condition, but it is never too late to start a treatment trial. However, it needs both awareness and efforts to find and identify as much as undiagnosed PKU patients as possible. So it is more than just an ethical or moral obligation for all PKU patients' organizations, both locally, internationally, and even globally, to advocate for universal neonatal screening and access to proper care for all PKU patients, whenever and wherever they are born and raised. The key is in our hands. And instead of going too much into the details, I would invite everybody to revisit the recordings of this entire conference. And I kindly invite you to the ESPKU conference taking place on October 17th. For registration, check out the ESPKU website. For me, it was a pleasure being your European host today. And I extend a very, very big thank you to MDDA and Generate for pulling this up, for all their hard work behind the scenes during these now nearly 70 hours of exciting content. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Okay, thank you. And to our hosts, Louise, Tobias and Christine, who represented their global regions in this event really well, along with the whole GAP organisation. We're really hopeful that this event now is going to pave the right direction for us as an association to really help make a difference with particularly some of those countries who, as I mentioned, are less fortunate. And that statistic, 10 babies a day born without diagnosis, is a pretty devastating statistic when we all know the difference that simple heel prick test can make, and with access to the right treatment and the right foods, that our babies can thrive and live a normal, perfectly healthy life, and to not have that opportunity in today's modern world is really sad. So we're really hopeful that that in the longer term, that all the efforts that we're all working towards can really make a difference in the future lives of all babies. So coming up, as I mentioned, on September 23rd, we have a Cooking with Jude presentation. Those of you that are familiar with VitaFlow, Jude is going to be cooking up some delicious bread treats. It is going to be cooking for beginners, but of course, anyone is welcome to join. We'll be looking at the low-protein bread, baguettes, and some yummy feta, capsicum, and onion stuffed bread. So registration is out. We do ask that you register for this one, just so that we can get our numbers there. And immediately following that event, we will have some more Connect groups. So this time round, it will be again new parents. We'll also have a Connect group for grandparents. So we really encourage you all to get those grandparents along, mamas and poppers, and anyone that wants to come along and meet with other grandparents, share ideas. Sometimes we forget that maybe they haven't quite had access to the education and the knowledge that we all may have as parents and as adults. And I think we all find through experience, it's really good for them to sometimes be able to have a conversation outside of yourself or your child or you being in the room. So if you can invite them along to that chat room, that would be appreciated. You just need to get them an account to get them registered, or they can log in as yourself as well. We'll also have a chat room for late diagnosed adults, carers, I should say, of late diagnosed adults as well. And we have a small cohort of those health professionals and also carers of those adults that we'll be inviting along for those Connect rooms. So I'm getting waves from the behind the stage, and I think that means that our special guest host has actually arrived and is in the room. Can I get a thumbs up on that, Nadine? Because it looks like we have got Francis there, and I've also got Renee there. So actually, just I think I had 2 more slides here. So I did just want to touch on this too. So we will be announcing some further details, but we've got great ambition to do more with our teens, our teens group. We've got some awesome kids and teenagers who have been really hands-on over the past few years. Francis, who you're about to meet with, is the shining example of one of those, and there's many others that I can mention. So we will be hoping to host a teens panel on September 28th in school holidays. So it will be 1:00 in the afternoon, and we're really keen to get a number of teens involved. We're just forming that panel now. This is actually a great one for any of your kids to come along and listen into, and a chance for them to ask questions of some of these teens, as well as parents to come and really, I guess, get a little bit in the minds of some of these experienced PKUers as well. So mark that date in your diary. A few other events we've got coming up is then October. We have a Spotlight Series and MDA update on the 5th of October. We'll be announcing our next speaker soon. This is a reminder too to any of you in the audience that haven't yet done a Spotlight and would like to put up your hand. Please do so. We'd love to hear from you. You know, it's very informal, and it's just a great chance to share your story, find out a little bit more about each other, and pop it there in the archives to show your friends or your kids or your mother one day, whoever you choose to. So on to tonight. we have a fantastic spotlight series. Before I invite Francis and Louise to the stage, I would just like to invite to the stage our platinum sponsor, who I believe I do have here in the room, and she's probably fresh off just putting her little bubba to bed. But I've got Renee here if you'd like to come and join me on stage, Renee.
Hi, thanks, Monique, for the intro. Yeah, well, I started the process, partner's doing it, so thank you.
Outsourcing, I love it. You've done well. How are you going?
Good, thanks. Well, yeah, we've just had confirmation that there's been a positive case at daycare, so I'm in 2 weeks of lockdown as of now. So, yeah, I'm settling in mentally that, yeah, it's going to be a rough road, but we'll, it'll be fine. So.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear about that. But I'm going to throw, did you have a quick update that you wanted to provide on a few things with nutrition?
Update.
That'd be great to hear from you.
Just that we are very proud to be the platinum sponsor. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Renee, dietitian at Nutrition Metabolics, and hope that all of you, no matter where you are in Australia, you're keeping safe and well, and that we've got really good stock levels of all our products in the warehouse. But we are facing increasing demands on and challenges due to the demand for other nutrition products to manage the surge in ICUs across Australia. So because they're needing a lot more tube feeds, obviously that blocks up the shipping routes. And so we are closely managing this with our supply and logistics teams. But for the best way to ensure a reliable supply of your Nutricia prescription products is to get it through your Nutricia, our Nutricia at Home pharmacy service, which provides you with free delivery. So for anyone that's in the regions impacted by current restrictions, then this is obviously really helpful that it's delivered to your door. Going to our Low Protein Connect site to find out about our products and services, either ask your dietitian at clinic for a registration form, or you can call our wonderful team on 1800 884 367, and they can guide you through the process of registration. And be sure to like our Facebook page, and then you get updates from us as well. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that update, Renee, and really appreciate everything that the Nutricia team's doing, particularly through these ongoing challenges and, you guys having your warehouse there in Sydney. It's certainly, I know we all were quite anxious when in the early days of COVID and not quite knowing how this would pan out. And we know, we can never fully, know what's around the corner. But the fact that, you've changed so many of your internal processes and just adapted to make sure that we don't miss a beat, wherever possible, it's really appreciated. So thanks very much. And thanks for your ongoing support of this event.
Thanks, Monique.
And this hub, I should say.